Hello everyone and welcome back to Versus, the show that today will take the fine art of cinema and ask it to engage in combat. Sure, in actuality it's a celebration of the two film legacies of our respective stars, though I do not think they're here in person. No, neither one of them. But given that this here program will focus on the greatness of Michelle Yeoh and Lucy Liu, I think competition is going to suit these two A-listers just fine. After all, they can do just about everything us audiences love to see on the big screen. Action, drama, romance, and most importantly, pandas who know how to kung fu. Yes, both Yeoh and Liu are solid parts of that franchise, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. We got a James Bond veteran against a Charlie's Angel, and an MCU stalwart facing off with a Kill Bill legend. In one corner you have Michelle Yeoh, whose crazy rich filmography is loaded with Crouching Tigers, Hidden Dragons, and now 10 more rings. In the other corner is Lucy Liu, who's done everything from host Saturday Night Live to play in the paralegal sandbox, and she even helped some fella named Sherlock solve mysteries. In fact, the only thing these ladies can't do is both win today. I know, it's a very tough call that your definitely not expert panel of judges will have to make. I know they're not experts because I'm the judge, and the jury, and pretty much both lawyers. It's my courtroom, and it's all for fun. Here's how we'll determine a winner. Round 1, box office. Round 2, Tomatometer / Audience Score. Round 3, iconic roles. Round 4, memorable moments. And then we'll do a wild card round that sources tell me could involve fight scenes or dance sequences, maybe a musical number.
Your methodologies are antiquated and weak.
Really, I'm just excited to give you all the background on these two stellar stars and how they conquered Hollywood and the worldwide box office. It's Lucy Liu, who I first saw on the big screen in Charlie's Angels, versus Michelle Yeoh, who I think I was introduced to in one of the super cop flicks. Yeah, we're gonna celebrate them both, but coming out of the gate with movies like those, they're always down to brawl on the silver or the small screen. Let's get it on. Round 1, box office. The movie theater, that magical place where folks from all walks of life can sit down, relax, and ingest thousands of empty calories while watching action-packed epics, uplifting romantic comedies, and everything in between. And in the case of Michelle Yeoh and Lucy Liu, plenty of people across the globe have done just that, and have been since the mid-1980s when Yeoh first exploded onto the silver screen. And for a preemptive balancing act, here's how I can level the field of play as fairly as possible. Since we don't have accurate box office data for some of Yeoh's early cinematic fare, I also will not include Lucy Liu's extensive TV work in this round. Her starring roles in Ally McBeal and Elementary certainly would help her case in terms of ratings, but she may not even need all those hit shows. After all, she burst onto the scene as an angel courtesy of some shy fella named Chuck. The 2000 mega hit Charlie's Angels was not Liu's first role, but it was her biggest hit at the time, and after being featured in the Mel Gibson success Payback, which earned $161 million worldwide, Angels would rake in $259 million, and the sequel Full Throttle would add another $227 million. But Liu was just getting warmed up. The Oscar-winning Chicago did over $300 million, and then the Kung Fu Panda trilogy soared to a combined haul of $1.8 billion. Like, in dollars. Who could possibly compete with that? Michelle Yeoh, because she's in the MCU, and pops into Kung Fu Panda 2 as well. But before those monster hits, Yeoh contributed mightily to franchises like Super Cop and made quite an impression alongside Pierce Brosnan's James Bond in Tomorrow Never Dies, which would go on to take in $339 million worldwide. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was a phenomenon upon its release in 2000 and cashed in to the tune of $213 million. Hits like Mechanic Resurrection and Memoirs of a Geisha each tacked on over $100 million in cheddar to her sparkling resume. Then the MCU stuff. Those movies tend to do okay at the box office. And before being a big part of Shang-Chi's $417 million earnings, Yeoh played Starhawk in the second Guardians of the Galaxy flick, which made a measly $869 million in fun cash register jingle noises. The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor grossed over $400 million. However, Lucy Liu can counter with the resounding success of both Kill Bill volumes, which combined for over $300 million at the multiplex. If it sounds like we'll have a lot of fun action movies to discuss later at length, it's because we will, and y'all don't even know the half of it yet. But when you factor in hit rom-coms like Crazy Rich Asians, Michelle Yeoh starts to pull away. Her combined box office total, again, just from the movies that we have data for, is a superb $3.75 billion. However, Lucy Liu is right on her heels, as her talking pictures have done $3.5 billion. So where's the separation? Well, it all comes down to movie average. Yeoh's films take in about $209 million per outing. Liu's accumulate $146 million on average. Now, let's take a step back here. Any of y'all have $146 million lying around? I did, but I spent it leasing my Ford Fusion. It's a sizable number for any star, and that doesn't factor in Lucy Liu's TV ratings, which skyrocketed thanks to multiple hit shows. But Michelle Yeoh's unreal $200 million plus per film average is just too much competition here, and she gets on the board first. It's Yeoh 1, Liu 0. Round 2, Tomatometer/Audience Score. And now we arrive at that round that can factor in all of Yeoh's filmography, as well as Liu's TV shows like an Ally McBeal or an Elementary. So let's first head over to the Tomatometer and see how the critics felt about some of those movies that did such boffo box office in round 1. And I see some freshness. Liu's Tinkerbell outings are at worst 90% and at best a perfect 100%. Meanwhile, the diversity of Michelle Yeoh's filmography is on full display at the top. The high-flying martial artistry of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is at 98%. Comic book extravaganza Shang-Chi's at 91%, and the heartwarming comedy Crazy Rich Asians is at an even 90%. Every Kung Fu Panda and Super Cop movie on these two resumes is fresh as well, and Yeoh's James Bond outing is an oh-so-close to fresh at 56%. Unfortunately for her, not every sequel she's done has fared as well as the big cuddly panda movie. The Mechanic, The Mummy, and even a Crouching Tiger second entry are all well below fresh, and Babylon AD, it clocks in as her basement at 7%. Well, yeah, if you think 7% is low, you have not met Ballistic, X vs. Sever. The movie has some redeeming action intensity that might help Lucy Liu out in a later round, but here, it's at 0%. And a friendly reminder that 0% doesn't mean that no critics reviewed it, it's that none of them dug it. That's as friendly as I can put it. Charlie's Angels Full Throttle landed at a rotten 42%, but the first film was fresh at a Bill and Ted approved 69%. All told, it's another close race here. Michelle Yeoh's Tomatometer average is fresh at 60% per film. Lucy Liu just behind with a 55% per movie average. On the audience score side of the ledger, the tables turn slightly in favor of Liu. Her average climbs to the border of Freshville at 59%, and Yeoh dips slightly south into Rotten Town at 56% per film. So how does one make a call one way or another for Michelle Yeoh or Lucy Liu in this round? The TV box is the ace in the hole. Now, most of y'all have those fancy 4K ones. Mine's 85 inches. I measured it twice. But back when Ally McBeal premiered, we were still glued to our fatback TV sets. We should really stop fat-shaming those old televisions. They didn't know any better. It's bad enough that they're obsolete. Now we gotta toss name grenades their way? Look, I love you big bone TVs. You still make Sega Genesis graphics look dope. Anywho, if Ally McBeal's 60% fresh average on the Tomatometer isn't quite enough to sway me towards giving Lucy Liu a victory in this round, her next hit show might. Elementary, the modern-day telling of Sherlock Holmes and her Dr. Joan Watson, ran for 7 seasons and averages 95% on the Tomatometer. And that, ye children, is what we call a knockout blow. For this round, anyway. Lucy Liu gets the W here, and we got us a tied ball game at 1 point apiece.
Oliver?
Yes, Auntie.
Be a dear and take care of that.
Round 3, iconic roles. Ooh, it's a good matchup brewing with these two worldwide stars, but before we get to the roles that made them international sensations, let's take a walk down memory lane with Michelle Yeoh and Lucy Liu. All right, honestly, it's just going to be me doing the walk with you, but we'll be talking about them. And there's no actual walking involved, so you can stay on the couch or wherever you are. If you're watching this on a treadmill, props to you. Notch the incline up a few and let's get strolling. For Michelle Yeoh, her martial arts mastery and acting chops began as a deviation from her chosen career path. She was accepted into the Royal Dance Academy in London and was pursuing her destiny of becoming a ballerina when she suffered a brutal back injury. Her instructor and principal assured her that there's other ways to use physicality to express oneself. And soon after, the 1983 Miss Malaysia winner was studying martial arts and even appeared in a commercial with some fellow named Jackie Chan. Like Chan, Yeoh impressed even the toughest of boys with her combat acumen and her ability to do her own stunts. She won rave reviews for an early role in Yes, Madam with American martial arts badass Cynthia Rothrock, and her new path was clear. Yeoh worked with Jackie Chan and left an impression on the most famous lead star stuntman of all time when the two teamed up for the Super Cop films. Her work as Inspector Jessica Yang showed the world that not only could she punch, kick, and have a great time doing it just like Jackie, she could also act. Her role in the Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies would become a scintillating introduction to American audiences. Not only was she the first Chinese Bond girl, she might have been the best brawler of them all. And that includes any of you boys playing 007. Lucy Liu's career path was markedly different from Yeoh's, as Liu was born in the Jackson Heights area of Queens in New York. Her parents came from Shanghai and Beijing, met in Taiwan, and began a family once arriving in the United States. Lucy studied martial arts and acting, and when she was a senior at the University of Michigan, she landed the lead role in their production of Alice in Wonderland. Did Desmond Howard play the Mad Hatter? The college football joke. He won the Heisman, folks. After booking some small movie and TV roles, she got a big career boost when Ally McBeal came around. She was so good in her audition for another role that the creators made the character of Ling Wu specifically for her, and eventually she would earn an Emmy nomination for the part. Big screen blockbusters like the Charlie's Angels franchise arrived in 2000, and alongside Drew Barrymore and Cameron Diaz, Liu cemented herself as a Tinseltown star. If the Angels gave us glimpses into Liu's fighting ability, Kill Bill solidified it on a worldwide stage. Her role as Orin Ishii, also known as Cottonmouth, is iconic not just for her sword-wielding magnificence, but for the intense emotional depth her character stirs in the audience. Fun fact, your simpleton host had somehow never seen either Kill Bill because I'm a simpleton. Now that's been rectified, and it's just so awesome. For Michelle Yeoh, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was a showcase for her uncanny martial arts magic and also proved on a worldwide stage how great of an actor she is. For the role of Yu Shu Lin, she did many of her own stunts, a common theme throughout her career, leading right up to her battle scenes in the MCU's Shang-Chi. Other films highlighting Yeoh's soaring combat antics include Reign of Assassins, and for dramatic chops, check out Luc Besson's 2011 film The Lady. Yeoh revealed yet another side of herself in the blockbuster hit Crazy Rich Asians, where she plays matriarch Eleanor Young with a quiet intensity that adds depth to the rom-com feel of the film. Lucy Liu could have rested on her laurels as an angel or a vicious warrior from Kill Bill, but from there her career options allowed her to explore even more avenues within Hollywood, including another big-time TV show. As Dr. Joan Watson in the highly rated Elementary, she's the grounded logic foil for Johnny Lee Miller's eccentric modern-day Sherlock. That guy was in Hackers. Anyone remember that? Nothing better than 90s internet movies. Oh, we were so young. It's a tough round to call here simply because both ladies have left their mark in Hollywood in multiple ways. But when I consider the breadth of Lucy Liu's reach, from Charlie's Angels to Kill Bill to a hugely popular TV series and as everyone's favorite Viper from the Kung Fu Panda trilogy, she gets the slight edge today. I could wake up tomorrow and change my mind, and Tomorrow Never Dies. It's the Bond movie. The point goes to Lucy Liu, and now it's Lucy 2, Michelle 1.
Do you have any idea the scandal this would have caused?
Round 4, memorable moments. And now it's time for my favorite round thus far because we get to take the gloves off. I already did that. Give the stunt doubles the day off and sink our teeth into some of the best action sequences cinema has seen in the last 4 decades. But before we get some sweet punches, kicks, and glass-shattering, death-defying leaping, let's warm up with some softer, gentler, poignant moments. All right, we don't have many of those simply because even in a non-action role, like Crazy Rich Asians for Yeoh, we feel her presence and the command that Eleanor has over the room. Take our first meeting with her. We're introduced to this dynamic at the same time that girlfriend Rachel is, and there's no question who's in charge of this family. And for Liu, besides her extensive work in television procedurals like Elementary, don't forget about her smaller part as Kitty in Chicago. It's not much more than a cameo, but it's impactful nonetheless. Okay, let's have some action fun here. The flowing kimono look for Ishii in Kill Bill took a minute for Lucy Liu to master, but once she did, the fight scenes that followed surpassed even what martial arts fanboy Quentin Tarantino could have imagined. Yet for all of that intensity, what struck me most watching the battle sequences was the quiet mastery of the samurai sword technique. That's evident in her final fight scene. For a more violent kinetic look, check out the badassery from the House of Blue Leaves, which is now how I want to decorate my apartment. Charlie's Angels allowed Liu to reign free and perform just about every move in the action film playbook. There's a legendary tussle with the Thin Man, and in the sequel, Full Throttle, there's a flamethrower that would even make the boys from Contra blush. You see how she's using it? Yeah, y'all are gonna need another 30 lives to get through that. But perhaps the best display of Lucy Liu's skills is from a barely seen, horribly reviewed 1990s effort called X vs. Sever. It did her no favors in the box office or the Tomatometer round, but here, it's a gigantic feather in her cap. She trained for over 3 months, 5 to 6 days a week, enhancing her martial arts tactics and nailing the choreography. And hearing that just makes you hate how good the movie is not. I remember seeing the poster for it. I was already smitten with Antonio Banderas from Desperado, and then it just disappeared from theaters in like 3 days. But Lucy Liu and her kick-assery is more than enough of a reason to check it out. Rent it. You don't need to buy it. Michelle Yeoh began her martial arts career being doubted by the guys who worked at her dojo. And that early 1980s time frame is probably the last time anyone would scoff at her entering a gym. Or when she's doing a flip, or suspending from a rooftop and crushing glass and skulls in the process. When most American, and I guess British audiences first met her, she was the toughest part of a Jimmy Bond film because she had an absurdly awesome motorcycle chase. What we didn't know yet is that that's child's play for Michelle. She literally jumped a motorcycle onto a train in Super Cop, also known as Police Story 3. And did I mention the train was moving at the time? It even floored co-star Jackie Chan, who's pretty good at doing stunts his damn self. Yes, Madam has loads of impressive sequences, and Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia Rothrock kicking ass and taking names is just a hoot. And 2010's Reign of Assassins features an unforgettable bank brawl. But enough preamble, let's get right to possibly the GOAT when it comes to memorable moments of mayhem. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has one magnificent sequence after another, including a scene where Yeoh dual-wields swords and then switches to a spear, and then there's like a hook contraption. Is there any weapon she has not mastered? This jaw-dropping action piece, choreographed by the mythologically great Yen Wu Ping, is a banquet of quickness, poise, power, and grace. Crouching Tiger is rightfully celebrated for furthering the artistry of martial arts on the big screen, and to this day, I'm not sure anything has surpassed it. Shang-Chi proved that Michelle Yeoh can still hang with the best of them, and for this round, it acts as the closer. Both Lucy Liu and Yeoh have forged careers chock full of great moments, and while today I focused on the best action scenes, their genre-defying careers will get some shine in the next round. For moments, it's Lucy Liu, who's a worthy competitor, but Yeoh just has too much on that resume to refuse. She gets the point, and we're all tied up heading into the final round. And now it's time for the wild card round, Versatility. Through 4 hard-fought rounds, our 2 stars have proven how talented they are in not just one field of cinema or a tiny section of blockbuster. They can fill up an entire red box with diverse roles and successful performances inside and outside the world of action-adventure. But to take home the ultimate prize, which is, what do we have, a trophy? No, a crown? We'll get you something. They're going to have to show off their versatility on the big and small screen, and we'll see who takes the cake. Ooh, we should give out cake every show. Just because I've already covered lots of cool action, that doesn't mean we can't recap some of that awesomeness right now. Michelle Yeoh made her mark in high-flying flicks like Super Cop and Tomorrow Never Dies, and her unique abilities have been showcased in everything from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to Shang-Chi. Lucy Liu is the singular most important reason that Charlie's Angels were successful in any of their missions, with all due respect to Cameron and Drew and Bill Murray and Bernie Mac. And if Kill Bill may be her finest moment in displaying her rare fighting ability, roles like Agent Sever and, Viper from Kung Fu Panda prove that she can do it time and time again. So if we're looking for versatility, the question is, what other tools are on that Swiss Army knife? For Yeoh, it's her graceful moves that aren't limited to combat. She can do comedy as well. Obviously, Crazy Rich Asians is a huge hit, and she's some understated humor there, but she also displayed a more overt sense of comedic timing in Wing Chun, where she goes toe-to-toe with Donnie Yen. Yeah, there's cool action in there too, but the comedic elements are prominent and put the breadth of talent harbored by both performers on full display. Liu didn't just beat up baddies in Charlie's Angels. The big screen reboot became a franchise because they're fun thrill rides filled with chuckles along the way. Ally McBeal in Elementary further show off the chemistry she can have with just about anyone in any setting. Doesn't matter if it's inter-office politics or solving mysteries on the streets of New York. I'd add Kung Fu Panda to the pile when it comes to working as a team, and let's not also forget she's great as a princess in Shanghai Noon. Liu and Yeoh have no issue handling the dramatic weight of a scene as well. Liu's Watson having to anchor Holmes' issues is more than enough testament, and Yeoh's performance in films like The Lady and Memoirs of a Geisha can't be forgotten. One of the most impressive aspects of both actresses is their ability to convey so much of that dramatic intensity within the context of a fight scene. Now, dummies like me may show up with a bag of Mr. Redenbacher's finest corn to witness glorious battle, but if the flick I'm watching is a Crouching Tiger or a Kill Bill, I'm gonna leave having witnessed so much more from an emotional standpoint. And now the worst part of my day, I have to make a decision to go with either Michelle Yeoh or Lucy Liu, because the show can't end in a tie. Wait, can it? Can we just say they're both great and then I can go home? There's like 30 producers in here and none of whom will validate my parking. Apparently the show is called Versus for a reason. Both deserve the nod, but if I'm forced to pick a winner, here's the tiebreaker to me. In Yes, Madam, Michelle Yeoh does her own stunts, including a sequence when she's suspended upside down from a balcony and headbutts a glass panel into tiny pieces. It's real, and she nailed it in one take, while taking down an array of evildoers. Oh, and she did that motorcycle to train thing that made Jackie Chan knock his knees. Don't try any of that at home, kids. Both performers are amazing on whatever size screen they're being viewed on, but today the W, by the slightest of margins, goes to Michelle Yeoh. She wins the wild card round and thus the match.
Now, if any of you sons of got anything else to say, now's the time!
And that's why these calls are so tough. Some of these episodes are fun because they're easy to see who's gonna win. Did anyone think The Simpsons was gonna lose to Family Guy? Raise your hand if you thought RoboCop stood a chance against Terminator. But then you get Michelle Yeoh versus Lucy Liu, and the fun isn't in how easy the match is to judge, it's how much research and rewatching and fact-finding we all get to do to celebrate both magnificent talents. And again, I can't stress this enough, I was late to the party on Kill Bill. My bad, I hadn't seen not a one volume, and now 20 years later, I don't know what I was waiting for. Thanks for tuning in today, kiddos. Remember, this is just my humble take. If you have a favorite flick or sequence from Michelle and or Lucy, hit me up anytime on social media at Mark Ellis Live. And be sure to keep tabs right here at Rotten Tomatoes for all the latest from Michelle Yeoh, Lucy Liu, and everyone else in Hollywood. They all live in this matrix, in addition to whatever other palatial estates they may enjoy. Well, for me, it's back to the valley. I think I'll take the Ford Fusion because motorcycles terrify me. Even if they're not jumping onto trains, I won't even set foot on a bird scooter. All right, see y'all next time, and buckle up.